Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So sorry. Good morning, everyone. Today I am starting this webinar on behalf of Dr. Khushbu. I am Dr. Deepali Bhatt, RM of Vidhyadeep Medical College. Today's our speaker is Dr. Gowtham Yalamarthi. He has done his master degree in Repertory, completed his BHMS in 2017 and MD in 2020. He is now practicing in Rajamandri, Andhra Pradesh for past 3 years. He is following Shekhar sir's lectures from his third year BHMS, and he is a regular attendee of Swara Gurukul from 2017 and spreads the Shekhar sir's teaching in his local language through the platform of Sankalp Homeopathy. And from the past 1 year, he is running a charity clinic for Bhavitha School, where the government of Andhra Pradesh gives free education and therapies for autism affected kids. So, welcome, sir. We are welcoming.
Thank you, Dr. Deepali, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very good morning. So, good morning, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss
Yeah.
on the topic of delusion rubrics. So first of all, thanks for giving this great opportunity, Swara Gurukul and the principal of Vidhyadeep University. So, I am going to share my screen. Madam, is it visible?
Yes, Gautam, make it full screen.
Yeah, madam.
Perfect.
So, today is our topic on understanding of rubrics under delusion, mind chapter. Alphabet A and B from Kent's Repertory with a detailed description of high-grade remedies. So, my dear brothers and sisters, listen this lecture very carefully because, as Sir said in his first class, he will be presenting a surprise gift. So, most of the questions might arise from this lecture. So, listen this carefully. Have a note on this. So, today my plan of presentation is like this. Where did Hahnemann spoke about delusions? Kent's philosophy, understanding of delusion rubrics, Kent's view of that particular rubric from Kent's Metallicum, and confirmatory keynotes of that track. So this is how I am presenting my presentation today. So coming to the aphorism, footnote 17, footnote 1, aphorism number 17. Most severe diseases may be produced by sufficient disturbances of the vital force through the imagination. So what Hahnemann says, see, listen here carefully. Most severe diseases, see that most, all the diseases, most severe diseases originating from through the imaginations and also cured by the same means. So even the cure also can occur by the same imagination. Regarding Kent's philosophy, he has divided mind chapter into his will, emotions, and intellect. A person can be understood with these three: will, emotions, and intellect. What is will? To choose and for deciding. Emotions is feelings or whatever it may be, happiness, mad, etc. Intellect regarding thinking, knowing, and reasoning. These three components combinedly forms a person. So mental symptoms play a vital role in unfolding the true image of the disease. We can prescribe at any level. As a human being, we are divided into mental, emotional, and physical level. So prescription can be done at physical level or emotional level or mental level. If you are prescribing at a mental level, holistically, results occur from center to periphery. Likewise, if you are prescribing only on the physical symptoms, concentrating on only on the physical particulars or physical particulars, cure takes some delay. So what Kent says is that according to Kentian philosophy, mental generals are of the most important symptoms of a patient and they are given primary importance in his repertory. We all know that Kent's repertory, biggest chapter is one extremities chapter and the other one is mental generals. So the division has made like this: will and emotions, understanding and intellect, memory. Perversions of will and emotion. Will means the desire. Will means the desire or wish. Emotion means a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. The desire or wish, as we discussed in the earlier. Emotion, a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances. The circumstances may be anything. Mood or relationship. Perversion of understanding and intellect. Understanding means perceive the intended meaning of words. Intellect means the faculty of reasoning and understanding objectively, especially with regards to abstract matters. So if there is any perversions in either of these, understanding or intellect, then there comes up the delusions. And the perversions of memory. Memory means the faculty by which the mind stores and remembers information. So any of these rubrics can be taken and we can use for repertorization, either in the perversion of will and emotion or perversions of understanding and intellect and perversions of memory. So let us see few rubrics of will. If you could see mind abrupt, which is nothing but a suddenness that is placed under the will. Mind audacity, mind biting, dictatorial, destructiveness, all this comes under the will. And this is a division which made by our seniors for better understanding. So if you see the audacity, biting, dictatorial, destructiveness, all this comes under the will. Next, rubrics of emotions like anger or irritability, quarrelsome, anxiety, brooding, all this comes under the emotions. Rubrics of understanding, theorizing, like plans or clairvoyance, delusions, imaginations, hallucinations, illusions, monomania, all this comes under the understanding. Memory, absent-minded, forgetfulness. All these comes under the rubrics of memory. So today we are discussing under the rubrics of understanding. In that we are discussing about delusion. So, sorry. So what is delusion? A delusion is a false belief that persists despite evidence proving it false. It's a false belief that even present by showing that it is a false. So imagination, illusions, false impressions. You think that there are certain things, but in fact they are only exist in your mind. Likewise, by seeing a belt, and the deluded person may think that it is a snake. See in that picture, a cat, and it's a delusion is that she that is being a lion. So our first rubric and the Kent repertory. Stomach devoured, his scrotum is swollen. Delusion that stomach is devoured and his scrotum is swollen. For this cross reference is body erroneous. In that, 3 drugs are given under that Sabadilla. In the Sabadilla patient, they have got false belief or impression about certain parts of her body. She thinks her arms is swollen, or her muscles are weak. She come to consultation complaining that her muscles are weak and her upper arm is deformed. The best thing is to do is examine. And few patients we encounter in our clinic. So, Doctor sir, I think that my right hand is swollen rather than left hand. So this is delusion. So think of these remedies. In that cases, you have to examine them. The other drugs are Argentum, nitricum, and aloes. There's also the same feeling. So what Materia Medica says from Kent Materia Medica. See what he's saying. Many of annoyances of this individual seem to be imaginary. Anything, many things. His mind is filled with strange things. Imaginations concerning persons or himself are strange. Imagines the body is withering. The limbs are crooked. The chin is elongated. So the persons of Sabadilla, they imagine that their body is withering or the chin is elongated. It is a sensation which she believes a delusion and insanity. They'll be having many impressions as to the state of his body, erroneous impressions. They always imagine sick, imagines parts are shrunken, that she is pregnant. Even is just by merely swollen from flatus, that she thinks that she is pregnant. If there is any throat pain, they think that she has become, that she has some horrible throat disease that will end fatal. And by the way, Thuja also has also the same erroneous impression as to the state of body. Thinks she is made of glass. In the Pulsatilla, mental state in a man is that a woman would be detriment to his soul. A fixed idea like iodine. And the iodine is also has got some full of fixed ideas. And likewise, we all know that anacardium has also has fixed ideas that a devil is sitting on one shoulder, talking in his ear with an angel sits on other shoulder, talking into the other ear, and he halts between the two and says nothing. So coming to the Sabadilla, they have got these imaginary things. Even by having a bit of fullness in the abdomen, she thinks that she's pregnant. So don't forget to prescribe Sabadilla whenever having these delusions. And some of the confirmatory symptoms to prescribe Sabadilla. They are chilly patients, worse from cold, hay fever with tremendous sneezing, where sneezing is the primary complaint. So we often prescribe this, right? When there is a hay fever with continuous sneezings, added with this delusion, patient heals holistically. Itching and tingling in the nose. So this is our first rubric. Next, second rubric. So if there is any doubt or if there is any difficulty to understand, you please message me or you can stop me some wherever you have got doubt. Our next rubric. Delusion affections of friends has lost. So these persons, they feel that their affections has lost, their friends' affections has lost. For this cross reference is forsaken feeling, deserted, delusion alone in the world, that no one is there. So in this Aurum met. So every drug has got successful state and failed state. So what Think Medica deals is regarding failed states. If you read Pura, Medica Pura or source book, where we can see successful states. So regarding failed states, we are reading right now. We are learning. So in this Aurum met, in his depressive periods, he thinks he lost the affections of friends. So in his depressive state, this Aurum metallicum thinks that the affections of friends has lost. What Medica says. If you could see from here, self-condemnation, continual self-reproach, self-criticism, a constant looking into self. She does nothing right. Everything is wrong. Nothing will succeed. Hopelessness. Self-blaming. Always having self-criticism. Imagines she cannot succeed in anything. And he does everything wrong. He is in disunion with himself. Imagines he sees obstacles in his way everywhere. He is all time imagining that he has neglected something, that he has neglected his friends. So this is a deluded state of the Aurum method. Whatever task he takes, he feels that he cannot succeed it. And he feels that he deludes that he does everything wrong. There will be a disunion with himself. And wherever he sees anything, he imagines that there are some obstacles where he cannot go forward. And he is always in a deluded state that his friends are neglecting him. So from here, the rubric delusion neglected of friends has arisen. So some of the confirmatory symptoms of aurum metallicum. Suicidal impulses by jumping from a height. And this aurum metallicum, they like classical music. like ragas or some Indian classical musics or some bhajana. And he's so religious personality. As it is syphilitic remedy, we all know that pains are worse at night. And there is general amelioration in the youth. So, am I understandable? I mean, can you understand my lecture? Say yes or no. Okay, thank you. The other drug is Hura. This remedy in 4-second feeling. The patient has the feeling that he is deserted by his family, friends, and relatives. So Aurum and Hura has got this delusion. And this Hura, this medicine is used in leprosy when skin feels as if it were hidebound. That is nothing but titan from boric. Our next rubric is delusion alone, that she's alone in the graveyard. So this is the delusion, and under this delusion there are many sub rubrics, like delusion alone, that she's alone in the world, and under this rubrics gives much more importance. Delusion alone, that she's alone in the graveyard. Delusion dead for this cross reference. Under this Sepia, well-known remedy. And what Vithalko says is that out of 10 women, that means it is a remedy especially for women, Vithalko says that 10 women to 1 man. So rarely indicated in man. There are two different types. The first one is most common, a skinny, lank creatures with long hands and fingers. No breast, they are sharp and fast. They arrive fast by car and leave the same way, a short tongue type of bird. So if you see the structure of sepia, a normal pelvis of a woman is absent. They are very skinny and very lank. They'll be having long hands and fingers. So when I was doing my internship, one of the professor prescribed a sepia for renal colic. I asked, sir, why did you prescribe sepia? Then he said, two observations he has done. As soon as she arrives into the OP, she sat with crossed legs. The other thing was, she's so thin. Her age was about nearly 40 years. And very frequently she was having renal colics. And for confirmation, he asked, what is the urine order? Immediately she replied that it was very offensive, sir. After using my toilet, if someone uses the toilet, my family would always say that, why didn't you pour the water properly? So he prescribed sepia 200, 3 doses in a day. The next day, she came with a renal stone. I was astonished. This is how we have to observe in our clinic OP. And the second time is less common. The washerwoman, she is obese, slow, dull, and indifferent. So what Metallica says? Sepia is suited to tall, slim women with narrow pelvis, lax fibers and muscles. Such a woman is not well built as a woman. A woman who has the hips of well built man is not built for childbearing. She cannot perform the functions of women without becoming relaxed in the pelvic organs and tissues. Such a build is a sepia build. Very tall, slim, narrow, straight from the shoulders all the way down. So if you see from shoulders to hip, it's like a narrow. So whatever Kent has given in his Metamedica, read it thoroughly from top to bottom, from line to line. Everything is important in Kent's Metamedica. His constitutions, everything. So one of the strongest feature of sepia patient is found in the mind, the state of affections. To great extent, the remedy seems to abolish the ability to feel natural love, to be affectionate. So whenever a sepia has been proven on the human being, the love towards their family, it will cut off. Likewise, the sepia patients are so indifferent. They doesn't love their children or husband. To illustrate it in the language of mother, I know I have to love my children and my husband. I used to love them, but now I have no feeling on the subject. She says that before I used to love, but nowadays I don't know what happened to me. I don't have any affection to love them. There is a lack of realization, a lack of ability to register such affections. The love does not manifest itself. Upon reflecting, it will seem that the love itself cannot be so changed. But the affections can be so as their expression of the love. This is a striking feature of this remedy. The thing is, they doesn't love because of the indifference created. From this, our rubric, delusion alone that she is alone in the graveyard has arrived. You have to understand this rubric based on Veteramedica retrospectively. So some of the confirmatory symptoms to prescribe sepia. Indifferent. Indifferent patient to the family that doesn't like company. General emulation from exercise vigorously. General aggravation from coition or from frequent sex. Empty feeling in stomach. Craves sweets, vinegar or sour things. General aggravation from 2 to 4 p.m. or 3 to 5 p.m. So they always say that. Sir, how much I eat, I feel that my stomach is empty. And they are worse from having frequent sex. They can feel better from exercise vigorously. And they like sweets and sour things. General aggravation from 2 to 4 p.m. or 3 to 5 p.m. Now, in South India, sour things are nothing but sambar or rasam, where they use tamarind a lot. So we ask, so what's the thing which you like most for prescribing sepia? And they would, if it is sepia, they would say that I like rasam or sambar, like that. So I could remember one of the case. He is organ professor. I was posted in his OP in my internship. So he has taken the case. The patient was a male patient, aged about nearly 25 years. The patient came with bronchial asthma. After taking the whole case, he asked one question: how would you feel better? That means, what makes you feel better while having this asthma? Immediately, patient said that, sir, I walk fast. If I walk fast, I feel better. So this is how we have to understand exercise vigorously. And he has prescribed Sepia 200, 15 days once. The case went well. So this is a rubric, delusion alone, that she's alone in the graveyard. Next, our rubric. Delusions. Animals of abdomen are in Thuja. So patient has this feeling that some animals are there in his abdomen. The patient has a feeling of something is leaving his abdomen, or it is a flatulence. The flatulence is moving his abdomen. It gives him the impression that something is alive. The other drug is tuberculum. This is also somebody who likes to pretend. And nowadays we can see a lot of tuberculum children. If there is any exam in his school, and they'll pretend, Ma, I'm having stomach pain. Ma, something in the abdomen. I couldn't able to eat food. Let me take leave on this day. And the pretty mother will believe on that, and this fellow will bunk the school. And after a call comes from their children in school. Why did your child is not arrived to the school? And they say this is the thing. And if you see the background of it, you can see tuberculin cases. So what Hinton Mathematica says in Thuja? Many women suffer from grumbling pains in ovaries all the time. They have a sense of organ which they should not feel. So many times in female patients, the presence of their ovary should not be felt. So there is a continuous feeling that some pains are always there in the ovaries. Pain from taking cold or change of weather. The increase of pain in the left ovary is the first sign. Sometimes the pain is so severe that the right one suffers apparently from sympathy. When the ovaries have been affected for some time, there will be a mental symptoms. See this. Whenever there is the affections of mental symptoms, that means ovaries are affected, then there arise the mental symptoms. A most violent irritability, jealousy, quarrelsomeness, ugliness, all these arise from there. This irritability is likely to be shown towards individuals about the house, towards the husband and the mother. She is at able to control herself among strangers and the doctors. And if you could ask that, her husband or children, how is she at the home? She always scolds her, she always literally scolds us. And she is very having a very irritable nature in the home. But the same, quite opposite can be seen in this patient. If they come to us, or if they are to the strangers, quite opposite state is maintained. Because she has in her nature a disposition to cheat. She wants to be alone and takes up upon herself fixed ideas. So this is a fixed idea about Thuja. That she is pregnant or that an animal is in her bowels. She feels the motion of sides, arms, thinks she is followed or that someone is walking beside her, thinks that soul and body are separated. So because of this fixed idea, our rubric, delusion animals of abdomen are in, is present, is given. And the classical delusion that she is very delicate, that her legs are made of glass, and that she will break. The thing is the break, and along with this condition, they have a violent tearing headaches, tearing in the eyes, ameliorated by heat. The eyeball pains are better from heat, and the rust are better in the cool open air. Retrospectively, study your drugs. Why this rubric has arisen? Why Thuja has got ovarian pains only in the left side? If you read 10th Metra Medica from top to bottom, understand it. For sure, your practice will be much more better. Confirmatory symptoms of Thuja. When talking the last words of the sentence, they are mumbled. Perspiration is oily and sweet smelling or offensive. And the history of repeated smallpox vaccine reactions or failure to respond to the vaccine. Nowadays, we are seeing a lot of cases after vaccination. And if you can see that eyebrows are thin or become absent on the lateral half. Intolerance to onions and garlic. And they doesn't like or they get aggravated after taking onions and garlic. And if you can see that eyebrows, they are very thin. And the sweat is very oily, sweet smelling. When they speak the last word, they get mumbled up. If you see these confirmatory symptoms along with that delusion, think of prescribing Thuja. And forked stream of urine. Urine they pass in forked stream. So this is how what Thuja speaks about. Next rubric. Delusions, apoplexy, thought he would have nothing but stroke. In this Argentum metallicum, this is an important symptom of this remedy, which is similar to Argentum nitricum, but with its own way of thinking. Fear of having fits, you find this in Argentum nitricum patients, whereas fear of having apoplexy with Argentum metallicum patients. So many of the cases we will be seeing, sir, if there is any drawing pain in the legs, patient fear that, sir, and you will ask us, sir, would this lead into any stroke or would this lead into hemiplegia or paraplegia or any neurological disorders? If at all that, think of Argentum metallicum. And if it is with fits, whether this would lead into fits, think of Argentum nitricum. So what Metra Medica says, Kent Metra Medica. He thinks now he is away from all the troubles of the day and can rest. And the instant sleep comes over him, he is roused from head to foot by a shock. So he'll do every task and he goes to the bed. As soon as he enters the bed, he rouses up and he'll be having a sensation that this is a shock from foot to head. Suddenly he wakes up. And it all continues from one again. He goes to sleep and again this continues happen. That means the cycle will be in a continuous manner. Sometimes the whole night he jerks from head to foot. His limbs jerk up. His lower limbs twitch and jerk. With this, he wakes up from the bed and he walks and he tries to walk it off. This is what seen in Argentum nitricum, but it belongs as much to Argentum metallicum, and Argentum metallicum has long cured it. In Hahnemann study of the remedy, in Hahnemann's study of remedy, he lays down the importance of shock on going to sleep. Very important. And many patients usually say this. Sir, after going to sleep, I feel that some shocks are there in my body. Shocks in the limbs. It is an electric shock that causes the whole body to jerk. From here, the anxiety about health comes. Thinks he is certainly breaking down. He is going to weaker. From this, he cannot walk. He will be in a restless motion. Without this distress, he cannot exercise mentally or physically. From meditation, or as soon as he enters a warm room, he becomes dizzy. And that is an exception belonging to a few of the head troubles and the sensorium. He is usually sensitive to cold. So whenever you hear this from patients, that is shock is going, or they feel that shock in that whole body, think of this Argentum metallicum and Argentum nitricum drugs. And even if you see the drugs rubric, anxiety about health, Argentum metallicum nitricum are also there. So recently I have seen a case. She's from excise department. Her work is to assess the quality of alcohol, and she has got continuous coryza from morning to evening, and she has been to many homeopaths and many allopaths as well. And allopath suggested for DNS operation. She doesn't like to go operation. Again, she went to a good homeopath in Hyderabad. After using few months of medicines, she feels better. But this recurrence happened. Then after taking the case whole history, I saw that with this coryza, she couldn't able to perform her daily task like cooking, or to look after her husband, or even to look after the children. And her performance is being lowered. And even if she want increment, or if for promotion, she need to perform well in the office. And if her higher superior or authority calls her, she feels that now I may not perform well, so that my promotion will get hindered. And she was having continuous coryza, and she uses nearly 10 kerchiefs per day. She cannot take juices, she cannot eat fruits, she cannot eat egg. Only she feels better on the plain rice and little bit of amount of curd, and either any vegetables she cannot eat well. And the doctor said that please avoid everything. You eat only on white rice, so that you can feel better as you are feeling better, and with some curd. And the curd shouldn't be too much of sour as well. Even it is that like that, it will get increase her symptoms. So after having analysis of the case, I prescribed Argentum metallicum 30, one dose. After 1 month, she felt that in her 5 years, and she is suffering this complaint from nearly 5 years. For the first day, after taking Argentum metallicum, she feels so much of better and ease in her whole body. And the usage of the kerchiefs has come to only one. Even while sleeping also, in the midnight, 12 or 1 o'clock, she'll wake up and she'll be having a lot of sneezings and coryza. And she'll be having a lot of headache as well in the midnight. And she couldn't able to sleep for hardly 2 to 3 hours also. She became so thin and lean. She has vexed up with her life. After prescribing Argentum metallicum 30 and the next month 0/1, she feels much better. So understand the case holistically. For this, you need to have a good skill of case taking skills. So I prescribed her Argentum metallicum and she felt better. Next rubric. Delusion appreciated that she is not. In this Palladium metallicum, most important in his life is that people think good of him. Those people ask for appreciation. And these Palladium patients, they always ask, what do you think about me? For example, if they have done some craft work, and even in children also, they need to be appreciated. And what is your opinion on me? This is what always they think of. They want some good opinion. They always want to be appreciated, either in the class, either in the home, wherever they may be. And her delusion is that she is not appreciated. Few confirmatory symptoms of Palladium belt. Easily offended and feeling of being ignored or insulted. Headache which travels in a band across the top of head from ear to ear. Right-sided ovarian cyst and pains. So these are few confirmatory symptoms. One is being ignored or insulted, and the headache which travels from ear to ear, and right-sided ovarian cyst or pains. So recently, I gone through a case. She's aged about 27 years, and she has got bronchial asthma, and she's suffering this bronchial asthma since her childhood. So I have taken case holistically. What I understood from the case is that in the college or in this, she's studying BTech, that if she answers to a question, that master is not appreciating her. In the home also the same thing happens. If she performs any task, that she is not being appreciated. And she said that I want to become a CEO where, because of my inspiration, many will change. So I had the capacity to change many people's thoughts. And this, like this case went on. The main thing or main theme in that case was that she has not been appreciated, not been recognized, either in home or in college, everywhere. So even eating a small chocolate The next day, she'll be having continuous asthma. And she always wants warm weather. She cannot tolerate any cold weather. And she was on bronchodilators for many years. And she was having allergic rhinitis as well. Everything got cleared after prescribing Palladium metallicum 200. I had prescribed 200 monthly once for 3 months, and later on I stopped it. And this last winter, for the first time, she had only 2 to 3 episodes of bronchial asthma after giving Palladium metallicum. So this is how we have to understand the personality in front of us. Prescribe to the mental state rather than physicals. If you are prescribing for mental state, for sure, your practice will be much better. And you need not change the remedy frequently if you are understanding the personality holistically. Most of the times, and even in the acute attack also, I prescribed her with palladium only. I didn't change the remedy. She went well. So this is how Palladium went. Delusion appreciated that she is not. So any doubts so far? Hello. Any doubts so far? Shall I go forward? Thank you. Next, delusion, beautiful. Track seems even. So this is the delusion of sulphur. That even a beautiful clothes, so even a dirty rag seems beautiful to this patient. You find them sometimes they do not want to throw anything away. For example, an old jacket even. Each time she wants to throw it away, she reconsiders and decides to keep it. Keep it. It still looks nice. People who like to collect the other people who like to collect the other two patients are Argentum album and Silesia. Children also have this habit of collecting. So what sulphur is says that they doesn't want to throw anything. They gathers everything, even a cover, even a dirty cover. They keep it aside, and the persons and the family of these persons they'll get a lot of annoyance because of this personality. For example, if they are walking on the road and if he sees any plastic cover or anything, they'll bring it to home and they'll store in a some box. And likewise, the arsenicum and silesia is also there. So, what is the differentiation between sulfur and ars? Sulfur will keep everything, while ars is more selective in his choice. He will keep only nice objects. So, recently, I have visited a home visit to one of the patient where his father is aged about nearly 85 years. And after seeing this person's case, and they were discussing his father's case, that, sir, he is having very offensive order of urination in very offensive stools, which we cannot bear. Things become very difficult for us nowadays. And he's having involuntary urination, and that stings a lot. And they use some medicines which couldn't help them. Then I asked her, then I asked him, say him in detail. First thing they said that, sir, this person, now he is bedridden, but during his adulthood, wherever he finds anything, any cloth or any cover or even a plastic bottle, he collects them and he'll keep he'll keep under his bed. And many times we said him, please don't do this. This is all nonsensical things you are doing. Like that, his family members said him. So they asked me to prescribe a remedy. I gave sulphur 200. After that, I asked them once. After 2 months or 3 months, I asked them, so how is he doing? And he has got some chelosis, cracks in the corners of mouth, with very varnished tongue, very clean tongue, and it is so burning. He couldn't able to eat any spicy foods at this age, 85 years of age. And he was having continuous drooling of saliva. So based on this confirmatory keynotes, I prescribed sulphur 200. The first thing they noticed is that after sulphur 200, earlier they used to grab those trash and throw them out. Again, he'll bring out. After sulphur 200, they throw that trash, but he didn't bring inside. The first thing they observed, it seems. And the other thing was the offensiveness of stool and urine has come down, but still there. And the involuntary urination has 50% better, but still it is there. So this is how we need to understand. By framing the simple totality, we can understand these patients. So some of the few confirmatory keynotes: laziness, intellectual, philosophical, the theorizing. And if you ask sulfur patient anything, for example, if you know about computer, and he will talk about that computer for hours together. And if you ask whatever thing you ask, they are well versed in that. And very lazy persons, and they are bossy personalities. Sulfur children are so bossy. They are disgust to orders. Likewise, disgust order in the sense they doesn't like the orders in the sense strong orders like urinous order or some ditch drain orders, some filthy orders. They doesn't tolerate it. They'll immediately have vomitings. General aggravation by 11 a.m. Aversion to bath, burning pains. They crave sweets. So I could remember one of the case. She is aged about 55 years. She came for plantar fasciitis. So during my early practice, I asked her. I have taken every totality. Then I asked her one confirmatory keynotes. How will you tolerate orders, strong orders or any filthy orders? Immediately she said that I'll be having severe headache and I'll be having nausea. At times, I'll gag enough. She will be having a lot of gags, it seems. And she was having burning pains in her soles. Based on these keynotes, I prescribed her sulphur 30. That plantar fasciitis has come down and now she feels better. So this is how we need to understand the human beings. Next, delusion, bed. As if two persons are in bed with her. So the drug cyclamen, she has the delusion that there are two persons in the bed. So what is cyclamen? It is a sensitive and sentimental person who cries easily. She is a little bit timid personality. They have a strong sense of duty. She has the feeling she must do her duty and she takes it very seriously. They are very sensitive personality, very sentimental one, very timid personality. And whenever they are given any task, they are very duty bounded. And she has the feeling that she must do the duty and it takes very seriously. So what Mathematica says, there is an alternation of moods is a striking feature of this mental state. Great flow of ideas alternates with weak memory. Joys alternating with irritability. Very calm person. Serene humor changes sudden into seriousness or peevishness. Grief and fear keeps her in continuous mental agitation. Dullness of mind prevents mental labor. Absorbed in thoughts, seeks solitude, thinks about the future. Answers incoherently. There is no coherence. Confusion of mind. From this confusion of mind, this rubric, delusion bed as if two persons are in bed with her, as erased in cyclamen. So whenever you are seeing a cyclamen, make sure that there are some alternating states. As I said in the earlier, successful state and failed states. Most of the times, patient comes to us in the failed states. But you need to understand their successful state as well. See this, joys alternating with irritability. Answers incoherent and confusion of mind. Some of the confirmatory keynotes of cyclamen. General aggravation from suppressed menses. So the suppression nowadays happens a lot. From the suppressed state of menses, the mental symptoms arises. If there is any flow, patient feels better. If there is any suppression happens, either through any means, this mental state will arise. One of the classical symptoms, if there is any headache, before that headache, there are some visual disturbances, flickering before the eyes, severe dysmenorrhea, labor-like pains, menses easily suppressed, worse getting wet, worse exertion, amenorrhea, and people who are working under wetlands or some few farmers, in the sense female farmers, they work in wetlands from morning to evening. And in these cases, nowadays, if you are seeing, they are having a lot of hysterectomies because either menses would be suppressed or they would be having a lot of dysmenorrhea. So from this you can understand that why Cyclamen has got this delusion rubric. So before prescribing Cyclamen, you must have, if there is any visual disturbances or any headaches. So before headache, they will be having visual disturbances. And dysmenorrhea seems to be like labor-like things. Amenorrhea, menses suppressed from getting worse. Delusions, but a naked man is wrapped in the bedclothes with her. Why Pulsatilla has this? Because Pulsatilla females, they are so sensitive personalities. They doesn't like the opposite sex. From this fear, this delusion has occurred. The delusion bed, a naked man is wrapped in the bedclothes with her. What Mathematica says, Kent Mathematica. See this. She imagines the company of opposite sex a dangerous thing to cultivate, and that is a dangerous to do certain things well established in society as good for the human race. See, even the marriage is also a very fearful thing to the Pulsatilla patients. Aversion to marriage is a strong symptom. How is her personality? She is mild, gentle, and tearful, but she is remarkably irritable as well. Easily irritable, extremely touchy patients, sensible to every social influences. So, for example, if there is any quarrel between mother-in-law and this personality Pulsatilla, even in small scoldings from mother-in-law, she'll weep, and her weeping is so pity to us. Melancholia, sadness, weeping, despair, religious despair, fanatical, full of notions and whims, imaginative, extremely excitable personalities. She imagines the company of opposite sex a dangerous thing to cultivate, and that it is dangerous to do certain things well established in society as good for the human race. These imaginations belong to eating as well as thinking. They imagine that milk is not good to drink, so they will not take it. So, drinking a milk is a common thing, but these patients, they think that even this drinking milk may lead to some other things. So, they avoid taking milk. They imagine that certain articles of diet are not good for human race. Aversion to marriage. A man takes it into his head that, that it is an evil thing to have sexual intercourse with his wife and abstains from it. See how Kent has narrated the opposite gender. Religious freak, and a special tendency to dwell on religious notion, fixed ideas concerning the scripture. He misuses the scripture to his own detriment, dwells on sanctification until he becomes fanatical. And this goes on till she becomes insane on other subjects. And then the tendency is to sit day after day in a taciturn way. He will not answer question unless hard pressed, when all his say is yes or no. Even if you ask a Pulsatilla patient, if husband asks that wife, this husband will keep on short on her, and either she will nod her head or she will say yes or no. This is how their answers will be. So from this aversion to marriage, and from this, the company of opposite sex is a dangerous thing. From this, the rubric has raised. Delusion bed, a naked man is wrapped in bed clothes with hair. Some of the confirmatory symptoms to prescribe pulsatilla. They are very easily influenced personality. You can easily influence them. For every small things, they weep easily. And they always ask mother or spouse, do you love me? If it is a children, Papa, do you love me always? Do you love me? Desires an amelioration by consolation. They like to fuss. They like to cuddle. Craves open air. Craves butter, cheese, peanut butter. Aversion to fat and butter. Indigestion from fats and pork. Thirstlessness. So, when I was practicing in a village clinic. So one patient came. She was having severe abdominal discomfort. She couldn't able to eat a small morsels of food. So I asked her, what happened? Village patients are they read Metallicum as such. They narrate the symptoms very clearly. So she said that, sir, just 1 month back I had a pork. Since then, I developed these symptoms. So I asked two more confirmatory symptoms that whenever someone says to anything, for you, how is your reaction? Then her husband replied that, sir, easily she weeps, sir. Another thing, if you feel discomfort, what would you do? Then she said that if I feel discomfort, either I like to have a walk, very slow walk. You can ask where some open air like that. So by this, I prescribed Pulsatilla 30 thrice daily for 3 days. And for the next follow-up, she was better for 70%. And Pulsatilla patients, they crave butter and their aggravation from butter as well. So this is how we need to study our drugs Pulsatilla. Next, delusion belong to her own family does not. She feels that she is not belonging to her own family. She thinks she is of noble birth. For example, she comes from a middle class family, but she has the illusion that she comes from nobility. She tells you she made the genealogical tree and it leads to higher rank. Though she belongs to low middle class family and she thinks that she has come from a higher family. And from this delusion, the delusion rubric has arisen that delusion belongs to her own family does not, that she is not belonging to her own family. She doesn't want to have anything to do with her family. She is fairly contemptuous, disrespect. And even she shows it. She finds them unimportant, of no value. She is only born in that house, but that is of no importance. Some of the confirmatory symptoms of Palladium. Haughty personality. They are always self-centered persons. Aversion to children. He doesn't like children. Violent impulses to kill spouse who she loves. Fears husband that he will die. pulsar patient, sorry, platina patient will have this fear. If husband goes out, she fears that he may die. Constriction as if bandaged, as if a band about the heart, increases sex drive. And whereas in successful state, these platinum persons are very responsible persons. They are very successful personalities. In failed state, we see all these aversions, violent impulses, and this constriction. What Medramedica says, it is especially suited to hysterical women such as have undergone fright, prolonged excitement. So patients who has undergone fright or prolonged excitement or from disappointed shock or prolonged hemorrhages. From this state, she becomes arrogant and haughty. One of the most striking characteristics of this drug is pride and overestimations of oneself. I'm the only person. Pride is so important for this planet. She imagines that she is of high-born family and that her friends and relatives are of lowly origin and looks down upon them. She always thinks that, oh, this guy, she doesn't belongs to me or he doesn't belongs to my level. Her acquaintances are inferior to herself. And from this, a strange thing about this remedy is that this imagination extends to the body. She imagines that her body is large, that the bodies of other people are small in comparison with her own. She is in a contemptuous mood, anxious and serious about matters that are not serious. So she is so serious. There is no reason to be contemptuous, or there is no reason to get irritable. And she is so irritable for small things. Even a little excitement will bring on palpitations and trembling. Fear is a very prominent feature in this remedy. Fear that something will happen. Fear that her absent husband will never return to her. Thought he comes back regularly. Usually, the husband will be having a regular comes to the home, but she fears that he may not come back. Restless disposition, excitable, waking, moving about and weeping. And there is an alternating state. The mental symptoms alternating with physical symptoms. Strange illusions of fancy. She may go into melancholy or into mania. Any disturbance of her pride will bring on that symptoms. So, if there is any disturbance to her pride, these symptoms will arise. So, from here, our rubric, delusion belongs to her own family does not, has arisen. Next rubric. Delusion, betrothal must be broken. It means engagement. So we see fluoric acid in this rubric. And these personalities, they do not take things very seriously. There is no responsibility, especially with fluoric acid patients. For example, a betrothal must be broken because of the responsibility it brings with it. So, fluoric acid patients, they'll not take things very seriously because they doesn't like the responsibility. People who are making the most of the life, they are also materialistic and sex minded. During the early part of their age, they will be having a lot of contacts. They easily have carries of long bones. If you see this picture, this is a patient which I'll discuss you right now. He has got HIV positive, thyroid positive, where he is suffering with a lot of ulcers on his leg. They like to have intercourse in the afternoon. They wake up at 4 a.m. with painful erections. At early age, they have sexual relations. They are always fast. They refresh themselves quickly. They need to move around quickly, walk quickly. They also weep in their sleep and have dreams of death. So if you see fluoric acid, they doesn't like responsibility. So in the recent past times, I'm treating a case of thyroid positive where this person doesn't like to get consulted with allopathic doctors. He's taking retroviral drugs from government hospital and he is a superintendent officer. He came for me for the ulcer on the leg. So my brother is allopathic doctor. He has uh, sent this case to me where this person is having very big ulcer on this leg, and my brother treating this case with some local silver-nated ointments, and it got healed up. After healing this ulcer, he got stroke. Within nearly 15 days, he got stroke, and his CD4 count got down, and his lymphocyte count is also got down. Then patient left me. He admitted in AIMS hospital where they were treating him for this stroke, and they found that he has got TB of brain, and they were giving antitubercular remedies. Gradually, he developed hemiplegia. So they were treating with retroviral drugs, antitubercular drugs, and hemiplegic drugs. But patient is couldn't able to get come out of this, and he was having severe spasms of throat. He couldn't able to drink water. Even a sip of water he couldn't able to drink, and that comes out from mouth. He could able to swallow only small morsels of food, and he was having hemiplegia. Based on this totality, initially I gave him causticum 30 for 3 to 4 days, and after observations, after 1 month observation, he could able to swallow food, he could able to swallow water. Now his generals are better. Then I asked him to come to my clinic. Then he came with very difficulty. Then I took this case. He couldn't able to speak because his vocal cord is so painful at the time. Then his wife gave the history. What she was saying that he's a superintendent officer. During early days of his office times, he used to come very lately in the night, like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. He used to have a lot of boozing. I don't know how this person has got HIV, but somehow this person has affected this HIV. And few more symptoms he has given is that for every small things he's weeping nowadays. Even if he's seeing any movie in the television, TV, he's becoming very emotional. And with this ulcer pains and this couldn't able to walk properly, couldn't able to uh, talk properly. and this person need to be carried by two other persons. And based on this history, I have discussed this case with one of my senior mentor. Then he suggested to prescribe fluoric acid 30. So retrospectively, I have studied this drug. So after prescribing fluoric acid 30, there was a gradual improvement. He could able to eat, his appetite got better, he could able to swallow, he could able to recite things. Now he could able to walk. The thing is, there is a bit difficult in writing, making a signature. And after 6 months of treatment, now he has developed ulcers on his shin bone. Now, he still is on the treatment. He's having evening fevers. So I asked her wife, how he used to eat. Then she replied that when he was good enough, he used to eat within 5 to 10 minutes, and he used to walk very fastly. We couldn't able to catch him. So based on this totality, I still more confirmed the drug. Acid floor works much better in this case. Now he's on 0/1 potency, doing better, and every day or once in a week or once in 15 days, this person is having new ulcer on the shin bone. If there is discharge from this ulcer, he feels better. So this is how we need to understand, because from this delusion that he want to make many relations, that he doesn't want to be with a single person, and this is in failed state. This delusion has occurred. Delusion betrothal must be broken. Next rubric: delusion, blind that she is, malicious. It is purely hysterical. The person wants to attract attention. For this attention, the malicious behaves that she is blinded, that he is blinded. And the other drug is Virata. The person pretends to be weak with the intention to make friends with people who have a strong personality. So, Viratam personalities, the person pretends to be weak. Because of this pretending nature, they want to have friends, those who are strong enough from them. So how would you differentiate with malicious and Virata? Malicious is a hysterical drug. Fits of anger, extreme cravings for cheese, hysterical asthma, spasms of chest, which are frightening, sudden severe asthma. So this malicious will be having extreme craving for cheese, and they'll be having lot of spasms in the chest. The asthma will be very sudden enough, whereas Viratam, they are hyperactive and disobedient child. We can think of this drug in ADHD. Meaningless repetitive behaviors, actions, cutting or tearing things, religiosity, cold and worse from cold, weakness and collapse states, cold sweat on forehead. For prescribing Viratam, in collapsed state, there must be cold sweat on forehead. And Viratam, I had prescribed a case in one of the, he's a priest. Suddenly he will be having syncope, where he will be having lot of sweat, and that sweat would be very cold enough, and he would suffer with that a lot. As he is a priest, he would always scold the persons who visit his temple. If there is any small mistake done by the persons who visit him, he will scold him literally like anything. He feels that he is a superior. So based on this totality, prescribed him Virator Malcolm 200, and his chief symptoms were DNS, and he felt better with this Virator Malcolm. Delusion, body will putrefy. Arsenicum, he is terrified of dying of worms and of putrefying. So Arsenicum personalities, in his failed states, there is a delusion that he will get putrefied of worms and of worms. Few confirmatory symptoms of arsenicum. There are extreme worried persons. Constantly calls the doctor and is reassured only with difficulty. And if there is any complaint, for example, let us assume that if he is having any chest pain because of that gastritis, he would call you and say that, doctor, I am having severe chest pain, please do something. And you should think of this remedy, arsenicum alba. And in the recent past times, after vaccination, people are seeing a lot of videos where they are having a lot of sudden heart strokes. And after seeing this videos or after visiting this news, patient would be having this type of symptoms. Acutely, we can manage them with arsenicum alba, prescribing 200 potency. And they always say that, doctor, I'm having this nail problems. Doctor, I'm having this what problem? Doctor, I'm having this small gastritis problem. What could you do? Can you suggest me anything? And they'll keep on torment you. They'll keep on calling you. Once prescribing arsenicum alba, they'll stop calling you. They'll be having fear of disease, fear of cancer, and fear to be alone. Fastidiousness, midnight aggravation, burning pains. So these are all confirmatory keynotes which you all know. Next, delusion, scattered about, but tossed about to get the pieces together. So in this, the drug Baptisha is given. During when the patient has high fevers, like septic fevers, he feels his body whirl around in parts such a way he has to put it together, that his body is scattered and he is collecting them all together. During septic states, this Baptisha is indicated. Some of the confirmatory symptoms of Baptisha. So usually indicated in septic conditions. There will be having great confusion, dullness of mind, stupor and coma. And in the septic states, if you ask some questions to the patient, he'll answer. And again, in the mid of the sentence, he'll sleep. Putrid, offensive odors from mouth, stool and perspiration. Influenza with bruised pains, uncomfortable in any position, the bed seems too hard. So, if there is an influenza, and from that, patient has got these body pains, and if he says that, in any position I like, the bed feels too hard, you can think of Bacteria. They'll be having septic conditions, and with this septic condition, they'll be having confusion, dullness of mind and coma. And in the middle of the sleep, in the middle of the answer, they fall asleep. And one of the strong symptoms is odors from the mouth, either perspiration or urine or whatever it may be. They're very putrid. Think of giving bacteria. Next rubric, delusion. Brain has softening. That is, brain is becoming softened. Argentum nitricum. So, in this argentum nitricum, the patient has the feeling his mind does not work the way it used to work. Usually it works good, but whenever this delusion is occurred, he feels that his mind is not working good. He is forgetful and has to write everything down. He has to prepare himself. He anticipates out of fear of failing. This is the result of softening brain. So usually he prepares himself. He anticipates because the result of softening brain. So arteriosclerosis is a common for Argentum nitricum patients. He eats a lot of sweets, too much cheese, and does not sleep enough. He thinks too much. Work will drive him mad. So because of this irregularity in the diet, arteriosclerosis happens, and retrospectively, the patient will be having this delusion. So some of the confirmatory keynotes of Argentum: impulsiveness to jump from a height, claustrophobia, fear of bridges, anxiety of health, general aggravation from eating sweets, hoarseness in professional singers, diarrhea from anticipation, intense craving for salt and sweets. So few of the confirmatory keynotes are like this: claustrophobia,
ट्रेन कभी से बाहर चले जाइए
sorry,
ट्रेन से बाहर
general aggravation from eating sweets, hoarseness in professional singers, diarrhea from anticipation. All this would lead to Argentum. So bibliography. So I have taken this chapter from Kent's Comparative Repertory of Homeopathic Metallicum, compiled by Doxon Kloppenberg, desktop guide, the keynotes in confirmatory symptoms of Morrison, and from Kent's Repertory and Kent's Metallicum. So this is the book which I have taken this book. So this is compiled by Dr. Doxon Kloppenberg and desktop guide, which is helpful for confirmatory keynotes. So before ending, so in order to understand these delusion rubrics, you need to have a good skill in case taking. The most important thing is case taking. How you analysis is a secondary thing. When your case taking is very good enough, automatically you will see all these type of delusions or keynote symptoms. So for this, I would thank Dr. Shekhar sir for inculcating such a great way of understanding of case taking and understanding the human personalities. So any doubts? Thank you, sir. Any doubts? So if there is any doubts, I could clarify it. Hello.
Is anyone having any doubt? You can ask to sir. Any question, students? No question, sir. Thank you, sir.
So before ending this session, I would thank principal of
Yes,
Vidhyadeep
sir.
University and the managing staff of Vidhyadeep College, and I would like to thank Swara, Shekhar sir, Priyanka madam, and Divya madam, and everyone who has given this opportunity. Thank you everyone. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.